What if the plant sitting next to your bed
already knows you're there?
Not because it can see you, not because it can hear you,
but because right now, at this very moment, it is detecting every breath you exhale.
It is measuring the carbon dioxide leaving your lungs. It is calculating your presence. And the most disturbing part, scientists say it's been doing this your entire life and nobody warned you. This is not a story about houseplants being pretty. This is a story about what happens when a living organism that cannot run, cannot hide, and cannot speak
develops something far more dangerous than muscle.
It develops strategy. And if what researchers recently discovered is true,
the plant in your bedroom might be far more aware of you than you ever imagined. If you've ever felt slightly uneasy near certain plants at night, science is about to tell you
that feeling wasn't wrong.
Make sure you subscribe before this video ends,
because what comes next is only the beginning of something that will change how you see every plant you've ever owned. Now, let's go back to 1983.
Two scientists, Gordon Arians and Judith Herwagen, were studying why humans feel differently in different environments.
What they found was strange.
People consistently felt more alert, more anxious, nor watched near dense vegetation after dark.
They assumed it was evolutionary, old survival instinct.
But they never explained why. The real answer came 30 years later, and it wasn't what anyone expected, because the question scientists started asking wasn't why do humans feel watched by plants.
The question became something far more disturbing. What if the feeling is mutual? Here's what you need to understand. Plants don't have eyes.
They don't have ears, but they have something called mechanoreceptors, chemical sensors, and gas detection systems so precise they can identify a single individual based on the specific chemical signature of their breath.
Your breath, right now, the CO you're exhaling contains a chemical fingerprint that is uniquely yours.
And plants don't just sense it.
Some of them respond to it. In 2019, researchers at the University of Missouri documented something that left the scientific community deeply uncomfortable. When they played recordings of chewing insects near plants, the plants immediately began producing chemical defenses. But here's what disturbed the scientists. The plants also responded to vibrations that were almost identical to breathing patterns.
Slow, rhythmic, repeated vibrations, like the breathing of a sleeping human. But this was only the beginning, because once scientists started looking at what plants do at night, near sleeping humans, what they found underground was something nobody had been prepared to see. There is a plant called Sansevieria.
You probably know it as the snake plant. It sits in millions of bedrooms across the world right now.
Interior designers love it.
Health blogs recommend it.
People place it inches from where they sleep and think nothing of it. But here is what those blogs never told you. The snake plant is one of the only organisms on Earth that actively absorbs carbon dioxide at night.
Most plants do the opposite. They release CO after dark. But the snake plant reverses this process after sunset, using a special metabolic pathway called camcrasylacin acid metabolism. This allows it to essentially track the density of CO in a room throughout the night, and CO in a room at night comes from exactly one source. You. Now, scientists say the plant isn't thinking.
It isn't watching you. It's simply responding to chemistry. But then researchers asked a question that changed everything. What else does the plant do with that information? What they discovered next was disturbing. Plants under the right conditions don't just detect CO, they adjust their chemistry based on it.
When CO levels rise, certain plants accelerate the production of volatile organic compounds.
Some of these compounds are harmless.
Some promote human sleep and calm.
And some, in certain species,
in enclosed spaces, can cause mild respiratory disruption, headaches, and heightened emotional sensitivity in sleeping humans. Think about that for a moment. A plant that detects your breath, adjusts its chemical output based on your presence, and releases compounds that affect your sleep. In an enclosed bedroom, with the window closed. At 3 a.m., scientists call this passive biological response. But here's where the real mystery begins, because researchers studying plant communication networks discovered something hiding beneath the surface.
Something that made several of them step back and ask a question nobody expected to ask about a houseplant. In 2016, a paper published in Trends in Plant Science confirmed what had previously been dismissed as science fiction. Plants communicate through underground fungal networks, mycelium, sometimes called the Wood Wide Web. Through this network, Plants share chemical signals, warning messages, and even nutrients.
But what was buried in the footnotes of that paper was something far more unsettling. The network doesn't just connect trees in forests.
It can form between potted plants,
In homes, in rooms, in clusters of houseplants that share soil from the same source, which means if you have more than one plant in your bedroom, they may be communicating with each other right now.
about the chemical changes in your room.
About you. But the real secret, the discovery that nobody talks about, was hiding not in the soil and not in the leaves. It was hiding in what plants do specifically when a human stops moving. When you fall asleep, your body does something predictable. Your breathing slows, your CO output drops slightly,
Your movement stops completely, and in a small enclosed room, the chemical balance shifts in a very specific, very consistent pattern, researchers
studying plant behavior in enclosed environments noticed that several species showed measurable changes in their
stomata, the tiny pores in their leaves, within 30 minutes of a human entering sleep. The plants were responding to the shift in the room's atmosphere,
adjusting, recalibrating, not thinking, not feeling, not choosing, but responding in a way so precise, so consistent, and so coordinated
that one researcher described it using a word
that made the entire paper go viral in Botanical circles. She called it awareness, and here is where the
story takes a turn that even the most skeptical
scientists couldn't easily dismiss. In 2021,
a Japanese research team conducted a study that has quietly unsettled plant biologists ever since.
They exposed several common houseplants, including species frequently placed in bedrooms, to recordings of human breathing at different rates. Calm breathing, distressed breathing,
deep sleep breathing. The plants show different chemical responses to each pattern. Different chemical
responses. To the sound of breathing, not the CO, the sound, the rhythm, the pattern, as if something inside the plant's biology was distinguishing between a calm human and a frightened one. Now ask yourself, if a plant can distinguish between your calm breath and your panicked breath, what exactly is it doing with that distinction? Scientists say we don't know yet.
That's the honest answer.
The research is young, the field is new, and most of what we understand about plant intelligence, or whatever we want to call it, was discovered in the last 15 years.
We spent centuries assuming plants were passive,
decorative, silent, and now we're realizing we may have been sharing our most private,
most vulnerable hours with organisms that were quietly, chemically listening. Not with malice, not with intention, at least not in any way we understand yet. But here is the thought that will stay with you long after this video ends. Every night you sleep, your plant. You are breathing into a biological system that senses you, measures you, adjusts to you, and responds to you.
And the plant you've been ignoring for months, the one on your nightstand, the one you forget to water, it has not been ignoring you. It never has. So I want to ask you something. After everything you just heard, do you think plants have a form of awareness we haven't fully understood yet?
Or is this just chemistry with no deeper meaning? Drop your answer in the comments.
I genuinely want to know what you think, and if this made you look at your bedroom differently tonight, share this with someone who keeps plants next to their bed. They deserve to know, because here is the last thing I'll leave you with. The next time you walk past a plant and feel, just for a second, like something noticed you were there, you might not be imagining it. Science just hasn't decided what to call it yet.